Good afternoon, I am Su Jin Kim. Today on Newsfeed Weekend. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. led the launch of the Bayanihan sa Estero cleanup drive in Pasig City as part of the government's broader flood control efforts. The program targets clogged waterways like Bully Creek and Ilugan River, where silt and water hyacinths contribute to severe flooding. Marcos Jr. stressed that flood control must go beyond infrastructure, highlighting watershed restoration and canal cleanup as key solutions. The president also called for science-based designs and long-term planning to address the worsening effects of climate change. Over 5,500 flood control projects have been completed so far, with more underway across the country. Meanwhile, banks aren't worried over the 19% Trump tariff imposed on the Philippines. Here is the report. Amid concerns over the potential impact of the 19% Trump tariff on the Philippines, major banks themselves aren't too concerned of the risks.
We think the impact for the bank's performance is very minimal, if at all, nothing, right? It's very minimal. We continue to see our corporates remain fairly bullish about prospects in the Philippines.
According to BPI President TG Limcaoco, even if export prices to the U.S. rise, the overall effect on the economy is marginal.
Yes, it might hurt our exports a little because it raises the cost of landing there. But really, when you think about our exports as part of our total economy and U.S. exports as a percent of our exports, it's actually very small already. Right? And many of our exports go to other countries.
And so the impact of tariffs is kind of muted. But for those that are engaging the export market, they're part of a chain, and they're not necessarily absorbing the whole impact of tariffs on their costs. And so this is something we think the impact is kind of muted even for our exporter clients.
In fact, the tariffs may even lead to lower prices locally.
I think, Titas, you also have to realize like a country like China has to keep on producing, right? And so if their goods going to the U.S. have less demand, they will keep on producing because that's the way their economy works. And so what will happen is those goods will come to other countries like the Philippines at lower prices. And in fact, you will see lower prices.
Despite expectations of a rate cut from the BSP, BPI's earnings remain strong.
You've seen the earnings of other banks in the Philippines, and I think there's a clear message that's going on in this country. This country, continues to do well. The banks are doing well, I think, and consumers remain confident in their futures.
But to tell you honestly, this is not, the upcoming interest rate cuts that we expect for the remainder of the year are not the first interest rate cuts that we've seen. And so we've already started to see these interest rates cuts, and they're already having an impact on our NIMs. But as you can see, our NIMs continue to be buoyant, and in fact, we're about 34 basis points higher NIM in the first half of this year.
Meanwhile, Limcaoco confirmed Friday morning that BPI is expanding to Singapore. Its first office in Marina Bay Financial Center will cater to Filipinos with at least 50 million pesos in investable assets. Su Jin Kim, Billionaire News Channel. Bike and jogging lanes around the UP Diliman Academic Oval are temporarily closed this weekend to make way for the UP College Admission Test 2026. In a traffic advisory issued Friday, the UP Office of Admissions announced that the closure will be in effect today, Saturday, August 2, and Sunday, August 3. The move affects both cyclists and joggers, as the entire academic oval area will be reserved to ensure a safe and quiet environment for examinees. The UPCAT 2026 is now underway, with thousands of students from across the country taking the highly competitive exam to gain admission into the University of the Philippines for the academic year 2026 to 2027. The Department of Health is on alert for a projected rise in leptospirosis cases after weeks of heavy rains and flooding. The DOH has recorded 3,037 cases from January to July 19, with 1,114 cases logged since June 8 alone. Common symptoms include fever, headaches, chills, body aches, and eye redness. Symptoms can appear 2 days to 4 weeks after exposure. Leptospirosis is a potentially fatal bacterial infection spread through floodwater contaminated with rat urine. And those are the news this hour. I am Su Jin Kim. Stay tuned for the latest updates with George Cahiles and Ann Asis Carrillo on the Agenda Weekend later at 6 o'clock, only here at the Billionaire News Channel. Good afternoon.
Up